One, two, 1, 2, 3, 4. Good morning, everybody. It is a Saturday morning here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. You got Charlie with JC3 Cards and Collectibles with you, and my good buddy Stu coming at you this morning with a little update on my processes. If you listen to our live show with the Dollar Box every Wednesday night at 8 p.m., you know, a couple weeks ago, I switched over to a thermal label printer. So I wanted to kind of update my process of what I do when I'm packing and shipping, listing and shipping, and packing and shipping, and that repetitive cycle we go through every day being low-end card sellers. So I wanted to post another video just showing kind of how things have changed. Some things have stayed the same. I also wanted to try out an overhead camera shot to kind of show you the whole thing at once. Now, I also am in the middle of a new furniture delivery as we're recording this, so I may be a little disjointed in and out as there may be a ruckus upstairs from time to time that I may have to attend to. So you may notice some cut shots on this one that you wouldn't normally see. So let's start with what I'm doing with my arrangement now. Because I'm still using the L-shaped desk that I have shown before, but let's flip over to overhead view. There we are. Look at that, live and in person. So you can see I still have this L-shaped desk. I still have my listed cards over here to my right. So those are my listed cards that were under my original listing process. So I listed those alphabetical. Let's split the screen here a little bit, or bring me in. So I I originally listed everything in alphabetical listings to keep track of, but a couple weeks ago, you'll remember, we adopted the SKU process. Let's just take the first one out of here. So you'll see this bag in the foreground. This bag has everything listed by SKU. If we get a little closer, hopefully you can see. There you go. SKU 12, 19, 23. So now I'm just taking everything in team bags. And when I take them in the team bags, I just put the date on it typically. Again, oh, look at that. If I don't put it in front of me, it blurs it out. I put the date on it. That allows me to keep track of when I listed this item, and that's a pure listing date. So you may be aware that one of the tips and tricks we use on eBay is when things aren't selling after a while, we will go ahead and end that listing, and then we will what will we say, sell similar again, and that puts that listing back up there in a prominent spot, but it also changes the listing date. So using the date on the SKU gives you an opportunity to see when did I truly list that. Now there's other benefits of that as well. You can give yourself little notes on that as well. So for instance, this one is, see if we can get a good shot of that one. This one is, boy, the lighting doesn't like me today. 120 or 1224 MB40. Well, that tells me some information about the buy. That's why those SKUs are a little different. So you can use the SKU to really give you some additional information in your store. So that tells me where I bought it. It gives me some information about how much that buy was for, and I can understand how much room I have on that card. So in that case, that was bought from an individual collection. I know exactly who I bought that from with the initials. And then I know that that was a lot that I bought for about $40. That tells me, I know about how many cards I bought in that lot. In fact, I have records for tax purposes that tell me what I expensed for buying that lot of cards. So now I know exactly when I listed it, how long I've been on it, who I bought it from, and how much I bought it for. It tells me kind of where I need to be for selling. So the SKU process has been great in that it gives me more information, but also just putting them in these team bags is a lot faster. These team bags is a lot faster than, say, going over and sorting them in this big box alphabetically. Now, the other thing we talked about is the new thermal printer. So right next to my listed cards box, you will see my Giles thermal printer. Previously, I was using this Canon Pixma paper printer up top. I did not mind the paper printer. Yes, I would only print 2 labels per page, and then I had to cut them out. Then I would glue them onto the envelope so they weren't moving around, and then I had to tape them up. Definitely a longer process. Definitely took a little bit more expense in putting them on, more hassle, and more time. All of those things are items that a low-cost seller has to watch out for. So, based on the feedback from Adam over at the Dollar Box and all of our listeners that were chatting with us on Dollar Box Live, everybody seemed to be in agreement that if you are going to expense a new item for your operation, a thermal printer is one of the first things to go. Now, I've used that for a couple weeks, and I would say 100% I agree. So what I thought I would do here today is I've got a couple sales ready to go. We'll go through those and see how that has updated my process with the thermal printer. So let's flip on over to the overhead. So you can see I've got my workspace configured where everything is pretty much within arm's length. Sometimes I have to do a little bit of an adjustment, like if I have to go way over into my old listed box, a lot of times I'll have to go up around the table. But with the SKUs, I can just reach over and grab it. So let's share my screen, and we will look at some sales ready to go. So here you have the seller hub. It gives you a nice little indicator. Print labels and ship. You've got things ready to go. So let's take a look at that. There we go. I've got 3 orders ready to ship, and one of them is a multi-card order, 4 cards for Joe Montana from the 1995 Upper Deck Joe Montana Trilogy set, which is a great sale to see. I love getting cards from the same set. And Adam and I talk all the time on the live Wednesday nights about quantity sales. That's something I'm trying to focus on, getting more multi-card sales because you really save in shipping costs. So I've got 3 orders ready to go. First thing we're going to want to do is pull those. So we've got a 2020 Panini Playoff Rookie Wave Red Parallel Jonathan Taylor rookie card. You can see I've got a SKU on that tells me I've got it listed in my new process. So we are going to go ahead and grab that card and get that ready to go. So we're looking for a team bag 1624B. What the B means is I filled more than one bag listing that day. And here we go. Here's that team bag. It was in the first column. We're going to go ahead and open that up. And now we just have to kind of thumb through these, and there it is, right near the top. So we've got our first card ready to go. We'll put all these back in. I use the resealable team bags. They've been a favorite of mine since day one because what you have in them is constantly changing. So we just put that bag back in the box, and this card is now ready to ship. So this particular card still has a tag on the back. I do not ship cards with a tag on them, price tag. I will change it out to a clean one. And then what I do later is I will take that price tag off. I will clean up that label and we'll be ready to go. So up next, if we go back to our orders, now we've got the 4-card Joe Montana order. These are all in SKU bag. By the way, SKU stands for stock keeping units. The more you know. So now if we look at that, we know that we have those in 125/24C. So again, we go to our box. I can see that row 3 is where I've got the 125s, and I want not 125/24, not B, but C. And I've got C right here. We will go ahead and find those cards in this team bag. So we're looking for anything Joe Montana, not Marvel. Okay, college greats Matt Ryan. We got Andre Rison. And I would imagine all these are going to be together. And here we go. Now we start seeing the Joe Montana. So we know it's not that one. Here is one, number 12. That's a number 8. So not the one we wanted. We're looking for, okay, here we go. Number 3, a nice profile. Here's one of them. Let's see. Number 12 is a throwing motion. Here we go. Number 12. What else? Now we're looking for white jersey sitting on the bench. That's not one of them. Just kind of tossing the ball back and forth. That's a number 4. Yep. 4 or 14? 14. So that is one of them. And then we also have one of him scrambling in the white jersey. Looks like this might be it. We're looking for number 5, and there it is. So now we have our 4 Montana cards ready to go. Like I said, when you're packing them this way, or I should say inventorying them this way in your listed sales, they're often going to be all together in these team bags, which helps quite a bit when you go to pull them out then when you have a multi-card sale like this. So then we just put that back in there. Now these ones, these are all raw, no top loaders or anything. So I'm going to need some sleeves, which I keep right here. So one of the pieces of feedback that I know Adam over at the Dollar Box shared with me is he used to send his multi-card orders with no sleeves. He'd put them all in one sleeve, and he would get some consistent feedback that, hey, we'd really like to see them all in a singular sleeve. So that's what I do. Each one goes in its own sleeve. Now, these are, what, 95s, 1995s? They're pretty thin. They're like 20 point. You could conceivably fit 2 pretty easy, I think, in a regular top loader. Sure. This is 2 of them going in. You don't have to fight it or anything. But I've got 4 of them. I'm not going to be able to fit 4 into a single standard top loader. I've got 2 options. I can use a, what do you call it? Card protector. The not as rigid, larger pockets, and that's probably what I'm going to do. Or I can use a thicker top loader to try and fit those in. Like if I went to a 75, I think I could fit all 4 in there. In this case, I'm going to use a card protector. And let me go into my drawer here. See if I can grab one out of here. Card Saver. Card Saver 2. Card Saver 1. Card Saver 2, I think, gets used most frequently with submitting to graders. PSA, I think, prefers that. Card Saver 2 is what works a little better for me. I think they're a little bigger to send multi-card orders. So you get those in there. I've got all 4 in that Card Saver 2. I'm sorry, Card Saver 1. I got to get my 2s and 1s straight, right? So all I have to do is put a little piece of tape over the top of that to hold them in. But you can see from a thickness perspective, that is not going to be an issue shipping that eBay standard envelope. I get 4 cards shipped for the price of 1. All right. And then our last one, we have, let's see, we've got a Peyton Manning 2022 Panini Phoenix Fireforge Peyton Manning number 9. That is in SKU bag 12224. So 12224, I can see those numbers sticking out. That is at the back of my second row, and it is in my first bag that day. And look at that. It's right at the top. Right at the top, which is sweet. Here we go. You can see, I can see that card even before I open that bag up. Fireforge FF9. There it is. So that works out nice. I've got 3 orders, and I'm going to go ahead and flip over. So here's one, Peyton Manning, Fireforged, sweet looking card, one of my favorites. Here are all the Montanas ready to go in a card saver. And then here is the Jonathan Taylor Rookie Wave ready to go. Now, I need to put this Peyton Manning into a top loader. Tap it down. I always tap them down so they're not sticking out the end. So we've got these 3 ready to go. What I do, I use painter's tape to seal these in so they don't come out of the top loads. There's a couple different ways you can do this. So I just ripped that piece of tape down the middle a little bit. That was not intentional, but I can still use it that way. So I just fold a little piece of tape over the top. Here's the card saver. I can use that other little piece that I accidentally ripped to just seal that up like that. And then I've got one more piece of tape that I want to put over this Jonathan Taylor card. You'll see that one's a little bigger. That's a great example of you don't have to be picky about the tape you're putting over those cards. Now, the next piece I have is these little thank you stickers. So these came about when I was using the paper printed labels. So a couple reasons for that. One, I wanted the cheaper envelopes. They're gummed. I got tired of licking all of them. I'm like, I want something to seal these up, but I'm using the printed labels, which I put on the front of the envelope. I guess I could have put them on the back. I just never really explored that. So what I started doing is I got these thank you stickers. I would seal the envelope with that in the corner, put the envelope on the other side, and then I would tape the envelope to it, and it sealed everything nicely. Now that I'm doing the thermal labels, I didn't need to seal the envelope that way because, there's the back of it. You're going to put the thermal label on this back side. And that negated the need for this thank you sticker, but I would get feedback at times saying, hey, got your card. I like the thank you sticker on it. So the question became, what do I do with these now? Well, the answer, for now at least, while I have these, is I put them over the top of the tape on the top loader. So you can see now I've got that sticker right over the painter's tape. Why over the painter's tape? Because, like me, I'm sure a lot of these people want to reuse those top loaders, and I don't want to get it too gunked up. On the other hand, here's a card saver 1. I'll fold that over the top. That one I'm not as worried about, not having it on some tape because those come off pretty easily on the card savers. But the top loaders, the adhesive they use can be pretty strong. So if you put that little thank you sticker over the top of your painter's tape, now they're going to peel that painter's tape off, and it's all going to come off together nice and easy. All right. So we've got our cards secure in our protective barriers. Now we need to start printing labels and getting some of these things in an envelope. So let's flip over to our orders. So we can print all of these at once. We'll just click all, and we're going to go to shipping, purchase shipping label. And then again, we're going to select all, and you can see you've got kind of your pre-screen. So this one, 1 ounce, 7x4x1. That's a number 6 envelope, 64 cents. Now the multi-card order is a little different in that this one says 4 ounces. Why does it say 4 ounces? Because I have 4 cards that were listed at 1 ounce each. It's trying to just do the math to bring those together. So what I would do if this was 2 cards, I would just overwrite this automatically. Because it's 4, I'm going to put it up on my scale here, and I'll see that that is 0.6 ounces. 0.6. So I would expect that by just adding a thermal label, that is not going to put me over 1 ounce. So I've got 4 cards that I can ship out for 1 ounce. So I'm just going to override this and say 1 ounce. Make sure you tap out of there so it updates. And now it says, okay, 64 cents for that label. And then we've got the Peyton Manning, 1 ounce, 7x4x1. All these will go out in a number 6 envelope. We're going to review our purchase, confirm and pay. And then it's going to take us to the actual labels. There it is. It says, here you go. Do you want to print these labels? Yes, I do. And then it gives me my print dialog screen. So that's where I'm actually going to hit print. And I'll give you the overhead shot. So you can see here that I've got my print dialog screen up. And I'm just going to hit print. And the thermal label should take over. And you can see and hear this working. There we go. So we're just going to rip those off like so. There's no cutting involved, no taping involved. We are ready to go. So I usually just lay them out in front of me. I'm going to close up my print dialog. I am going to go back to my pick list, which is at the bottom of my label screen. So you can see who gets what now. So my Rookie Wave Red Parallel is going to Lawrenceville, Illinois. I can look at my labels and see exactly who that is. So this is our Jonathan Taylor. We're going to put it into our number 6 envelope. So there's one little thing I do that is a preference, certainly not required. I still have these little glue sticks from when I was doing the paper labels. I put a little dollop of glue on the corner of my envelope where it seals right here in the bottom, the triangle, just to hold that top of the flap of the envelope in place while I put the label on it. Easy peasy. So now that I have that there, I just line it up on the top and with the sides of the envelope. I flip it over like this. Let's make this the big one. Flip it over like this. So now the label is down on my table. I kind of do a flat press on it. Fold over that little overhang on the bottom. That makes a nice little seal. And we are ready to go. So we'll put that one down. Next one up, let's do Joe Montana. So we've got our Card Saver 1. Fits perfectly in that number 6. We're going to put just a little dollop of glue to hold down that label while we affix, hold down the flap of the envelope while we affix the label. This one I see is going to Morgan Hill, California. So we'll go ahead and peel that label off. Again, I like to put my thumbs near the top half of the label. It gives me the most control as I place that right along the top and each side. You're trying not to get any creases in it. Do our little press. Make sure all of the label is adhered. If you get a little crease here and there, just try to run your fingers along it. On this one, I got a little crease right there. That's in a blank part of the envelope. That is no problem. You definitely do not want any creases up here around the QR. That would cause the machinery at the post office to have a problem reading that. You'll see I got plenty of envelopes within arm's reach. Now we're going to send out our Peyton Manning. Again, dollop of glue at the bottom just to hold that envelope flap down. And then we are done with that, and we'll get our last label here. So that one is going to Sydney, Montana. I sell an occasional card out into the Montana, Wyoming markets. I like to see where my cards are going. If you watch my Sunday sales videos, you will see a whole section of it that is just about, dude, where'd my card go? So that one's done as well. We've got all 3 orders ready to go and ship. And we used our new labels. So it works out pretty well. You know, I definitely have to say that I like the fact that I converted to thermal labels. It is a time saver. It is an expense saver. I think I'm paying, so I just ordered 5,000 labels. I'm committed to this. And I paid a penny a label on that versus the paper and ink that I was doing before. Over the course of a year, that is probably going to save me, oh gosh, 80 to $100, which is a lot when you're talking about margins of, you know, sometimes 20, 25 cents on a card. So I think it all makes sense. As you can see, I still have my layout, a place for everything in its place, kind of an industrial concept of your workspace here. I try to keep things at arm's length. It's ever evolving, but this is what is working for me right now. So that's all I've got for you. Stu, do you have fun hanging out? So appreciate you watching. Watch for my sales video on Sunday. We'll go through all the card sales for the week and talk through what sold, what's the going rate I'm getting on some of those cards, how I listed them, and also what markets they're going to. I believe I might have another card that left the continental United States. We'll have to check on that. That's one of my favorites when I see them leave the continental United States. Hawaii, Puerto Rico are kind of some destinations I get often. I think I had one card to China so far. Those international sales are really exciting to me. So, all right, until next time, keep on grinding. Peace out.